Thank God for the wake up. Thank God for the wake up. Thank God for the wake up. God morning and good morning. Welcome to Talking Cancer, My Journey, My Way. I am your host, Louis Lopez. It's Monday, right? September 4th, I believe. Labor Day? Yeah, hope you guys have great plans and things like that. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow. I appreciate you. Today, I want to talk about genetic testing. Now, I finally got my results back from my genetic testing, and the things that they were testing for. So, what does that mean? I really didn't know exactly like what it meant. Um, you know, but I'm assuming that they're testing for genetic traces of cancer, probably specifically colorectal, because that was that's what I had, and the doctor said that um, at the time when I got diagnosed, they told me that it was genetic, that it was passed down to me. So, um, with the genetic testing, they tested they did a Lynch syndrome analysis. Now, some people may ask, okay, well, Lewis, what is Lynch syndrome? Lynch syndrome. Lynch syndrome is a type of inherited cancer syndrome associated with a genetic predisposition to different types of cancer. This means people with Lynch syndrome have a higher risk of certain types of cancer. Lynch syndrome is also known as hereditary non-polyposis colorectal cancer. Okay, so that was passed down to me, and I'm assuming since it was passed down to me that either my mother or father had this gene. Now, the question that I have, and probably things that I'm going to end up talking to my doctor about, because I would need better clarification, is do these genes or genetic markers, do they skip generations, so on and so forth? How does that work? Because I would assume if one of my parents had the gene, then it was passed down to me, then that would mean that I had the potential of passing it down, you know, so on and so forth, right? But the gene is there. So, when you have a kid or whatever, they get 50% of your genetic makeup, right? Something like that. So these are questions that I have to ask the doctor when that appointment comes around, to just kind of get more better clarification, because again, um, I was told that it was genetic. So, being that it's genetic, okay, that was my initial um, conversation with the doctor. They chose this time around. They chose, okay, hey, you're stage 4. I wanted to find out, hey, can this stuff be passed down to my kids, so on and so forth. You know, are they going to be predisposed to this type of stuff, whatever. So, this testing was done by Ambry Genetics. Okay, it was submitted by UCSD Surgical Oncology. All right, and it says Lynch syndrome analysis with Colonext plus RNA insight. Results: pathogenic mutation or mutations, none detected. Variants, variant or variants of unknown significance, none detected. Gross deletion or deletions, duplications, none detected. Summary: negative, no clinically significant variants detected. Interpretation: no pathogenic mutations, variants of unknown significance, or gross deletions or duplications were detected. Risk estimate: low likelihood of variants in the genes analyzed contributing to this individual's clinical history. Now, let me read that one again. Risk estimate: low likelihood of variants in the genes analyzed contributing to this individual's clinical history. So, I want to just stop for a second because he's saying this to me. They're saying from the genes that were analyzed, um, to me it sounds like I was not this cancer is not genetic. It was not inherited. That's what that sounds like to me. Now, I was already told that it was genetic. So, I don't. Now, these are questions that I need to go back to because I was told by a sharp doctor that. Now, this is being done from a third party. The genetic testing is being done from a third party requested by UCSD. So, yeah, these are things that are confusing to me because I'm definitely worried about my kids and stuff like that. So, I want to make sure that, hey, whatever's going on, Daddy got this, and I want them to be aware that, hey, this is a possibility for you. Let's look out for these things. Let's put this in your doctor's notes. And, just like you would do, hey, my mom or dad got diabetes, it could be run down, passed down in my family, da, da, da. Well, my dad has cancer, I want to continue to be checking for these things. So, and then it says, under interpretation, genetic counseling is a recommended option for all individuals undergoing genetic testing. So, they recommend that I have some counseling done, genetic counseling, to help me, I'm assuming to help better understand what all of this means. So, yeah, we'll be setting up an appointment for that because we definitely want to know. And then it says genes analyzed. They analyzed 20 genes. Now, I'll get into that more, but I didn't know because the questions that I have, like how many genes do we have? I don't know personally. But they analyzed 20 genes, 20 genes to be specific: APC, BMPR1A, CDH1, CHK2, MLH1, MSH2, MSH6, MUTYH, NTHL1, PMS2, PTEN, SMAD4, STK11, and TP53, sequencing and deletion duplication. AXIN2, MSH3, POLD1, and POLE, sequencing only. EPCAM and GREM1, deletion duplication only. RNA data is routinely analyzed for use in variant interpretations for all genes. So these RNAs are used for interpretations of all genes, variant interpretations for all genes. So the order summary: the following products were included in the test order for the individual. Please note, tests on hold and those that have been canceled include reflex testing steps canceled due to a positive result in a preceding test are excluded. For additional information, please contact Ambry Genetics. Okay, so let me see here. The reflex testing steps. Okay, so I'll need a call about that. So let's see. HNPCC concurrent and Colonex plus RNA insight. So that's that. Now, what do I gather from that? I'm assuming it says that one genetic type of testing, the reflex, was canceled due to a positive result. So is that saying that it is genetic? But so that's one test that they ruled out, they didn't do. So I just need to get better clarity of what exactly this means, because this is for it's not about me. It's about genetically passing down something to my kids and them getting a leg up, if you will, a head start on battling something that might be in their future. Being able to do something. I'm working on the future of my kids, and their kids, and their kids. These genetic testing, it's something that now is going to be in our history, constantly making sure that we're being tested, or doing the things that we need to do to be proactive. It's really tough right now to get my kids to eat the way I eat. That's tough. So, especially when my littlest one has so many allergies. She's allergic to so many, but she does. She's barely developing her taste buds and things like that. Those things are ongoing. I remember when I was her age and even into my teenage years, I couldn't stand cabbage, couldn't stand it. But as I got older, now I love it. So these things take time to develop. Um, and you probably have things too that you didn't like when you were a kid, and now you love them. So, with that being said, you know, we just continue to, you know, try to push that issue of healthy living, make sure those conversations are coming up regularly. So as they get older, it has been embedded into their brain to do better, to exercise, to eat better, watch what they eat. These things will be a norm for them. They will have knowledge. So I want to pass this down as well as my genetic testing. So they are aware. I already gave a copy to my wife, so she has it, and she kind of, could continue to go forward and do these doctor's tests and things like that, and making sure we're being um, tested properly. So but I'll know more as I go through this. Um, like how many genes does the body have? You know, I could probably type that in now, right? How many genes does the body have? Does the human body have? The human body, my damn, they only tested 20, right? So the human body have between, let me read this. Let me make sure I read this properly. A gene is the basic physical and functional unit of hereditary. Okay? Genes are made up of DNA. Some genes act as instructions to make molecules called proteins. However, many genes do not code for proteins. In humans, genes vary in size from a few hundred DNA bases to more than 2 million bases. An international research effort called the Human Genome Project, which worked to determine the sequence of the human genome and identify the genes that it contains, estimated that humans have between 20,000 and 25,000 genes. Okay. Now, I just read just a brief part of that, and I'm probably going to go into this more as I get off of this podcast. But yeah, that's huge. But they tested 20, and I think one of them they didn't do because it was already done. I need to figure that out because I want to make sure that I'm reading that right. So I'll definitely be going over that with the doctor. Now, it also says here, it says that every person has 2 copies of each gene. One inherited from each parent. Most genes are the same in all people, but a small number of genes, less than 1% of the total, are slightly different between people. Alleles are forms of the same gene with small differences in their sequence of DNA bases. These small differences contribute to each person's unique physical feature. Scientists keep track of genes by giving them unique names because gene names can be long. Genes are also assigned symbols, which are short combinations of letters and sometimes numbers that represent an abbreviation version of the gene name. For example, a gene on chromosome 7 has been associated with cystic fibrosis. It's called the cystic fibrosis transmembrane conductance regulator. So its symbol would be CFTR. So there's a lot that I need to learn more about genomic gene testing, definitely for sure. So, but I thought that would be interesting to talk about here today. So, so what they tested, long story short, what they tested for Lynch syndrome analysis, everything that they tested, the 20 that they tested, have came up negative. Um, but one they did not do because of a previous test that was done, probably when I was diagnosed, um, and that what came out positive. So, like I said, I'll know more when I go talk to the doctor and kind of just go from there. So, but I want to thank you for your time today. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow. That's all I ask. I appreciate everybody across the world that have been listening and tuning in. Hope you have a great holiday. This is my part of my 3-day weekend. I had Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So continue to enjoy, love life, smile, and appreciate those and everything around you. All right? Like, follow, subscribe, and share. That's my time. I'm out of here. Peace, love, one.